And welcome to our next post-status happiness hour. Today I'm joined by 2/3 of the organizing team for Color Code events, Tim Bouchard and Ron Brennan, my neighbors to the west in Buffalo, New York. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Ron, I don't remember when you and I met. It's been a really long time because we've been doing Buffalo, and it's probably 2015 or 16 if I'm 14. I don't know, being honest,
14,
way back.
14 or 15. Yep, somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
somewhere back
Your
there.
first work,
So
your first WordCamp event.
it was. I joke about. I laugh about the fact that I posted on my only social channel at the time, which was Facebook, and I called it. I said I was at my first WordPress camp because I didn't even remember they were called WordCamps back then. And Tim, you and I go
Those-
back probably almost as far
Almost,
back.
yeah,
I
like
met you at
2016
WordCamp
maybe?
Buffalo,
Yeah.
as well. So nice to see you both here today. But we're here to talk about color code, which I am
Yes.
fortunate to be a speaker at. I'm excited to bring my my story there, or my talk about doing personal branding and how you can increase your personal branding. And there's some basic steps to doing that and get started. It can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't need to. So I'll save that for the actual event. I won't give it all away today. But I wanted to talk to you guys about what you're doing because it's WordPress adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a WordCamp. You're doing something on your own, similar to PressConf that's going on at the end of this month. But you have managed to keep the costs down, so it's still a fairly low investment for people to attend. And it's not an official WordPress event, which is also was a choice for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in person as well, so it's not an online event. So tell me all the thought processes that went into getting this up and going off the ground. Also, I think the venue is supposed to be pretty sensational, right, from what I've heard.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, Ron, do you want to start with this? I mean, you have the bigger history, so you can go for it.
Yeah. So as you know, like Ben and myself, and then Andy, and then Tim, we kind of ran the WordPress community here in Buffalo, New York. Ran the WordCamps. We started this year. Michelle, you know how we do it. We're last minute. It drives you crazy. But, we kind of pull it together. We decide 3 weeks before the event, hey, let's do a WordCamp. And then, our handlers and everything are going crazy. This year, like Tim really got involved, and he's like, you know what, guys, we're going to do this right this year. It's going to be a real, event that people look forward to going to. But we got to start. I mean, we started last year after the event. It was crazy.
Yeah, July and August, we started a planning meeting for this year.
Tim, you accomplished what I was unable to do for years.
Yeah.
I'm very
which was
persuasive.
light that fire under those guys and get them started earlier.
Yeah, he got us motivated by always suggesting meeting places that had like beer and chicken wings. So
That's a Buffalo thing to do.
With Buffalo, you got it. Where's your favorite wings from?
Favorite wings? Mine are probably
That's hard.
Bar Bill, but I like Gene McCarthy's a lot too, and that's where this kind of all originated.
I like Gene
There you
McCarthy's
go.
too, but my secret is the Tonawanda Golf Dome.
Oh, those
right.
are good too.
And you guys introduced me to Elmo's, and I really liked
and
Elmo's wings. So
Elmo's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
sidetrack.
Sorry.
there.
Yeah,
That's
Buffalo
right.
things.
do we have
That
a
was
time
me.
limit?
I mean, we try to keep it to an hour. So
Okay. So anyway, we got started. We got going with our handler, sponsor, whoever, our organizing friend. And then we got into it, and all this stuff happened with WordPress, and it was really around that time with like Checkbox Gate. Remember that? Like, I don't even know if that's still a thing where you got to certify that you're not affiliated with WP Engine.
It's like Pineapple now or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a thing anymore.
And we, Tim and I both run our agencies and use those services. So we're like, we don't even know if we can log into this thing. And then, are we going to be hindered by people that utilize this you can't buy tickets unless you check that box and log into the WordPress backend. So there were a lot of unknowns, but beside all of that, we kind of started having conversations adjacent to this anyway, and thinking it would be cool to have a conference that wasn't so platform specific and that didn't, like WordPress is cool and designers come, but they have to be familiar with WordPress. This thing allows any platform, any technology, any designer, marketing agencies, whatever. We've got so many different various people that would never probably come to a WordCamp because maybe they don't build on. We got a guy that's building a CMS, I think, in one of the talks, I believe. So, so nothing against WordCamp. We hope to keep that going here in the Buffalo community, but we know we still have our WordCamp meetup group that goes once a month, but this is an exciting opportunity to do something different, and we didn't know how it was going to be received, but Tim again got the just started like emailing everybody, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this thing. So formed an organization and started putting it together, and it's going to be a great event. So Tim can talk about like the venue and all of that fun stuff that's happening.
I also want to know where the name came from, so I want you to dive into that at some point too.
Tell her the real story.
Yeah. Color code itself is, I think the idea was we wanted to lean into both sides of the equation. And you know how it goes when you brainstorm like this. We had a ton of terrible ideas. We had some that other people had already taken. We had some that were just straight up silly. But color code, color, art, design, code, tech, and it just kind of, and it's, alliteration. It all kind of works. So we
sounds
went with
sounds like a Dunkel thing.
He was part of it.
Yeah, he's part of it. Yeah, we all definitely thought it's one of those things where like the Slack channel and the Google Drive doc just goes crazy for like 2 weeks, and then ultimately you end up, okay, there's a domain we could use for that. Let's go for it.
That's what it came down to, the domain, I think.
That's what everything comes down to when you name stuff now. It's, is there a domain that you can register for it and then get an LLC or whatever. So color code is really meant to, one, have like a fun sound and really specifically just plainly say this is design and tech. And when you think about like the marketing world, that kind of factors into everything that we do for marketing too. So it's all encompassing. And to Ron's point, it really allows us to branch out topic wise and technology wise. And we were talking about the venue. The Seneca One Tower in Buffalo is the most impressive building in the city from a size standpoint, that stands over the city at like 33 floors or something like that. I'd say that City Hall is still probably the most impressive building, but the tower is amazing. But it's also home to 43 North, which is one of the largest startup incubators in the country and runs one of the largest competitions in the country. So there's lots of startups there, and they all have marketing, tech, advanced, promotion. So it really kind of fits the vibe of what that tower has tried to become under Douglas Development, which is sort of like a tech hub and an incubator hub. And M&T is invested in it for their tech department. So it has a great auditorium, large breakout rooms for, and we planned on maybe having one good track, but we got so many speaker submissions and there were a lot of good talks, and we really did want to have a variety of talks from design to development to marketing, and it ultimately ended up that we had enough to whittle it down to 3 tracks, which was 20 speakers and 19 talks. We have one, the headline talk is actually a 2-person talk in the auditorium at the end of the day, but it really worked out well. We have speakers coming from all over the East Coast. We got sponsors at the national level, and to Ron's point, by making the event a little bit more inclusive to marketing and creative, we were able to pull a lot of local agency support too on the sponsor side, because one of the goals was, we don't need this to be a conference that makes money. We all have jobs. We all have agencies or freelance gigs. We wanted to create something that was still accessible for students and startup people or just hobbyists even. So by getting the sponsorship, it allowed us to keep down the ticket cost. So the tickets are around what a typical WordCamp would be as well.
Nice. Yep. That makes it much more accessible for people, for sure. Especially when you do have people flying in from all over to attend and to speak there. I think that's great.
It is still volunteer speaking at this point too. I mean, there's a few sponsors that have speaking spots because it's part of their sponsor level, but the challenge to having a low ticket event is it has to be very community driven. So in that aspect, it is a lot like WordCamp. It's just that the speakers are coming from such more diverse backgrounds now and diverse topics. that it's just interesting to see that there are other people in these industries that are willing to do volunteer speaking too.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's one the other way, to their credit, to the speaker's credit, of being able to keep tickets down in cost.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the site so we can kind of talk a little bit through. First of all, who is the Bauhaus lover? Because the whole design seems very much in the Bauhaus arena.
Yeah,
which
that's
I love.
my art director at Luminous, John English. This is his brainchild.
I love it. It looks great. And there's downtown Buffalo. I recognize that.
Yep, that view right there is up Main Street from the level that the event is going to be on at Seneca Tower.
Oh, nice. My daughter used to live right on Main Street there. So let's see. So you have, right now we are in the standard. So it's only $40 to attend. And if you sign up after the 20th, it's only $50.
Yep.
And you can do that with or without a t-shirt for that extra $10.
Yep.
I see wings, of course. You got to have wings. The venue looks phenomenal.
Yep, that's the tower.
And then there's the schedule, which is, what everybody is always interested in seeing, like who's going to be here. Coffee in the lobby. Happy about that for sure. Opening remarks, as we call the event greeting here. And then you've got some, Tim, you and I are speaking at the same time. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's the way the schedule works out. When you have tracks like this, you have to balance and make sure that you don't have any overlapping
absolutely topics.
So, so there's definitely like in the flex track, which is green, when it's heavily marketing or design related. The other talks are more content and dev.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was a hard balance. When you have this many speakers, it's like doing a wedding reception table seat. And you have to figure out who has to be next to each other and who can't. So,
It is nice to go first thing, though, because then you've ripped off the Band-Aid and like the rest of the day is your own, right? So
well,
nice.
And set the tone for the day too, right?
Of
so
course.
A lot of strong people leading off each track and then go from there.
And you've got Jen Witkowski, you've got Lucas Manuel Alvarado, Caitlin Bowling, Jim Brandt, Femi Lewis. Oh, I love Femi. She's awesome. Brian Cleary.
Christian Taylor's coming too. He's
Christian from Crayler Made. Yep, I know Christian. He and I met for the first time in person over at WordCamp Asia. Phenomenal, doing so much work in WordPress as far as news and sharing that kind of stuff. David Jackson, Keelan Burke. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll point out my buddy Jordan from Orlando, who no one's ever probably heard of in this community, but for the sports fans or even general marketing fans, he's behind the viral campaigns for the Pop-Tarts College Bowl game that have happened the last couple of years with the crazy Pop-Tart stuff that's happened. And he's doing a talk on kind of how that idea went from the typical bar napkin story to actually like winning the business and being like, oh, we have to actually do something now. And then it turned out to be amazing. And it went viral like for a week, 2 years in a row, 2 different campaigns.
That's very cool. Looking forward to hearing that.
Cool. Yeah.
It's just super meta because color code happened on a bar napkin. It kind of as well.
I'm not surprised.
G. McCarthy's over wings.
Right. You got Coriano Harris. Hugh got this. I like that. And then Aaron Ryman, who is down in Atlanta area.
Mm-hmm.
Robert DeVore, Levi Newland, Tamara Zentel. And then the, I guess, keynote?
Yeah, kind of. Whatever. Yeah, we wanted to bring everyone together at the end of the day in one room. And
Natalie Munger with utilizing heuristics to improve design. I love that. And then you do have an after party, I think, too, right?
Yeah. Ron, you want to talk about that? It's in the works, but we
just kind of locked it down
today.
Earlier today. So it's going to be at Pearl Street Brewery, which is a short walk away.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's kind of the cool thing about having it in downtown Buffalo. The hotels that you're going to stay at, in our WordCamps, we had them in smaller communities and there weren't really hotels. So you're always just driving to the event or getting an Airbnb somewhere. Here, like we're in the heart of the city. Like our speaker networking event, you're going to hop on the train and take it right up Main Street. So everything's like right there, very accessible from
hotels right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Here, I'll give you a chance to thank your sponsors now too. So you've got WP Engine.
Yep, WP Engine came in big, and then you'll see a bunch of the agencies and local colleges and stuff. And GoDaddy came in pretty big too.
What's FTN?
That's 15. That's a local agency, creative agency.
Oh, nice. Luminous, Kenai, and Douglas Development, our collaborative.
Yeah. So props to Douglas. That tower, we are using the venue at no cost.
That's amazing.
When you see the venue and you see what they're offering us to be able to do it at no cost, another reason why the tickets are low.
I was going to say that definitely contributes to that low ticket price.
It's insane. It's such a good location, and it will really facilitate like an amazing experience.
You got Mr. Smith, Parkway, Martin, Canisius University, Kinsta, and then Black Space Creative, 19, Breakdance, and Lighthouse Marketing.
Yep.
And if people are interested, they can absolutely subscribe to the newsletter. Now, you have, I'm going to stop sharing because I think I've shown almost everything. You have listed us as Buffalo, but it looks like there's room for more events since the Buffalo is kind of like the subset of the site. Do you have plans at this point? Is it kind of leaving it open for future ideas?
It's leaving it open right now. There is a plan, but there are no plans. We have
concept of a plan?
We have concepts of a plan.
Definitely concepts of a plan. We have had interest expressed by various sponsors that they would sponsor further events too. So this is one of those things where if we have a formula to build an event like this that operates in the same way that people are used to with WordCamps, and we can spice up the national circuit a little bit with a handful of events each year, we can build out our organizer network. And, it doesn't have to be a big project for us. We don't have to take over the world. At this point, it's about variety. Even locally, Michelle, you're, in Rochester, you're very active in WordPress and have done WordCamp Rochester too. Do we really need 2 WordCamps 70 miles apart from each other?
Right. And we've talked about having WordCamp Western New York.
Yeah,
before.
Or doing WordCamp Western New York and combining efforts, right? So, like Ron said, it's a very good opportunity to expand our horizons and take what we learned for 10 years off of the WordCamp and then make something else that we can inject into potentially some different cities too, but definitely in Western New York. And it's something that complements WordCamp very well.
Yeah. Absolutely. So tickets are still on sale, which is great. So if people are interested, finding tickets, I didn't look because I live local enough. Do you have information about hotel stays and things like that? Venue information on the site, recommended hotels, anything like that?
I don't
or
know
should
if
they
we
just
have
go to
those specifically there, but to Ron's point, the venue is downtown, and if you do a Google Map search, you're going to find hotels within 1 train stop or walking distance.
Perfect.
And it's Buffalo. So they aren't super expensive, although there is a Shane Gillis comedy act at the arena that night, so you never know who's coming into town buying up these hotel rooms. So
I've never heard of that person, so maybe it's not as big as
maybe.
I don't know. So whenever we have an event here in Rochester, the question is, the question from outside is, will you have garbage plates? The question from inside is, we're not going to have garbage plates, are we? So the question in Buffalo is, will there be wings at the after party? Or what can people expect?
Yeah, I believe so. We're going to have food. Like food is always a part of these things. We haven't finalized the menu yet, but I generally like to provide some Buffalo staples, especially when I know we have people coming in from out of town. So
yeah, I'm the same way. As long as it's mild, I love Buffalo flavor.
Yeah,
not so much the spice. So, to get back to something you said very early on, which was about pineapple on pizza, the pineapple on pizza question across the world is very similar to the Buffalo, Western New York question of, would you ever dip a wing in ranch?
No.
You lose your Buffalo card if you do that.
No, it's always blue cheese.
Yeah.
Blue cheese only.
And if it's done right, it's either homemade blue cheese by the restaurant, or if you have to, it's Rudy's blue cheese.
Yep.
There you go. I'm sure Rochester doesn't have either of those, so we take what we can get. But I think most of the time it's Marie's blue cheese, but
that's another one. Yeah. People use that
in a pinch, right? So what else? What else do you want to talk about with the event? What could people look forward to? What are you most excited about? And is the stress levels hitting yet?
It's not super stressful. I mean, fortunately, because we got started early at this point, it's just about making sure people know tickets are there, making sure they know the event exists. We've been doing as much daily almost posting about speakers and sponsors and things on like X, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. But one thing we haven't talked about yet is the live graffiti art competition that will happen throughout the day in the lobby. Ben, who's not here to talk about it, so we'll do our best to do it for him, is running essentially a large sticky note easel competition where we'll have markers and things set up out in the lobby in a certain area, and people throughout the day, if they want to either skip a session or between sessions. I don't know what the official plan is for what will be done in terms of the art that's done, but do something and put it up on art battle 100% art battle. And it kind of vibes with a sticker that we have that we're giving all the attendees, and also the t-shirt option that we have, which is the responsive by design, naughty by nature reference.
Yeah, love it.
There's a little bit of this weird sub theme that we just decided to inject in that's kind of like urban hip hop 80s. I don't know, it seemed fun, so we just went for it. But there will be art battle stuff. There actually will be some interactive voting towards the second half of the day, and there will be 3 winners of gift cards at the end of the day too. So
can I make a suggestion for next year's t-shirt?
Sure.
It's black, it's just black lettering on a white shirt, but it's open lettering, and it comes with Sharpie markers. So while you're going through the day, you can color in your own color code shirt.
I like that.
Interactive wear.
Swag.
Okay. Yeah, interactive swag.
Somebody write that down.
We're getting a lot of good support from the sponsors too, so there will actually be things like swag bags when you check in.
Nice.
I mean, it's just like we've gotten so much support from the people that not only have done financial support, but they're trying to make it so that the attendees have like a very top-notch one-day conference experience. So I'm looking forward to that too, and being able to provide that.
I think it's gonna be cool to have we're gonna have, and it really never happens here. I mean, occasionally we'll see other marketing agency people at networking events or whatever, and some of us talk or whatever on online. But to have this group of people that are there in the same room together, like I'm excited about that. Just what kind of collaborations and what kind of ideas can spark from just those side conversations that we're never really all in the same room like this.
Yeah. So does that mean the hallway track is going to be exciting too?
A hallway track's always exciting.
Opportunities to meet new people for sure.
But there's a lot of decent topics. I mean, you were scrolling through the speaker list and the schedule. I mean, there will be AI topics, and there's the typical like content topics, and there's a few hot button topics. The new CMS someone is building is pretty cool. I'm going to be talking about decoupling yourself from Google because I personally am starting to hate Google. But like, you have to live with it. But how do you play the game? I don't know.
Right.
Or I do know, and I'm going to talk about it. But there's a lot of decent like hot button topics that are coming up too. So I think even from a professional level, these aren't like throwaway speaker presentations, even though they're volunteer speakers. There's going to be a lot of meat to this.
Yeah, I realize that'll be hard for people to see necessarily, but the schedule is very concise. It's also very colorful. I like that. But yeah, there's a lot of amazing topics. I'm also glad that my talk is done early, because otherwise I have a tendency to like obsess about it and sit in the green room and work on it too much. And this way it'll be done and I can go listen to other topics as well, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And there's so many cool stories there. Like Tamara from the Foundry. She's like second last talk in the second track there. The future of entrepreneurship. Like she literally, like her whole thing and her whole career now has been to support her daughter, who was a young entrepreneur and had this product that she created and blew up into a company. And so she had to, build out the support system to help her daughter turn this idea into a company. And now she's teaching and, kind of mentors young entrepreneurs. So this should be a really interesting talk there too.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of really cool stuff on the schedule. If people want to learn more, here, let me change things up here a little bit. I do have a banner. I have a banner for this. Just go to colorcode.events in your browser, and you will be able to see the whole schedule, read up about the speakers and the topics, see more of what's being planned for the day. And for what's up to the minute stuff, go on X. I still call it Twitter, guys. I'm sorry,
it's
but I
X
do.
Twitter. Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Color Code Events. It's nice that you have you named something that not only had a
domain,
URL available, but yeah, exactly. That's not always easy.
Not for Instagram though. Instagram, it was taken by some
course.
unused account, so it's like, I think it's Hello Color Code on Instagram, but
there's ways around things.
There's always something.
Exactly. But yeah, you can get your tickets right on the website as well, colorcode.events. Right now they are, what did we say, $40 for a ticket to attend for the full day, and that includes lunch.
Yep.
And the after party as well. So make sure that you sign up for that, especially if you're in the area. But honestly, why wouldn't you want to come anyway? And plus, make a whole weekend of it. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Niagara Falls. So you could actually, on Sunday, go and check out the falls, or even Saturday night or Friday night or whatever. And I love.
We have our friends from Niagara Falls, Canada, coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. It'll be good. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to mention about it, other than sign up, come, join?
No, I think we're going to try. We're not streaming it, but we are going to try and record every track and then, get it up on a YouTube or make it available through the website in some way, shape, or form.
Nice.
Some combination of Tim's cameras and our mics and whatever.
Yeah. Excellent. That'll be great.
Because we love torture, so we're going to do that to ourselves.
That's right. You know how that goes with WordCamps, then the footage will be there. Will anybody edit it and actually upload it, or will it sit on a...
But we think it's important, though. It's, we've run an event like this for 10 years, but this is the first event, and we want to make sure that people can see what it was about, what types of quality topics we had and speakers. So, we think that there's something here, and if we can make sure that we're always pushing out the quality of this, then it makes it more possible for us to potentially do another city at some point. And it's not just in Buffalo in the Northeast. It could be in the Southeast, it could be Midwest, it could be whatever. There's creatives, marketers, and devs all over the country. Could be in Canada, could be in Europe. I don't know.
Europe, yeah.
Could be anywhere.
Code Europe.
It's only a concept of a plan.
Exactly.
So that's it.
Concept of a plan. We have a couple people watching. If you have questions, now is your time to put them in the comments before we wrap up for the day. I guess I'm out of questions. I don't know. Are you still looking for sponsors? Are you still in need of sponsors? And not so much?
We'll always, the high ticket sponsors are all taken up. We're always open to someone doing a low level if they want to grab a ticket and a low level sponsorship just to support. We'll always welcome that. So there's still time to do that, but it's not critical for the event. It's all set up, ready to go. We're just get people on the tickets, get people the event. We're going to have a great time, listen to some quality talks, meet some cool people, then do it again.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. I will be there bright and early. So,
are you coming the night before?
Too.
You're coming the night before, right?
I was planning to. I don't have anybody in the area to help me with my scooter at the hotel. That's what's stopping me from coming out the night before. So I was going to drive in super early on Saturday.
Okay.
But we can always talk later if you know somebody that is around and can help. But
it's
otherwise,
crazy that we're here. Like, we were talking a little bit earlier on about your first WordCamp in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And that was back in the good old days when Ben used to sneak like 150 people into the Canisius cafeteria, and that's where we had the WordCamp. So that was.
We've come a long way, baby.
That's right. That's where your first one was, right? At Canisius?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's where I met you, at Canisius. So, and then I found out after. I didn't know this, but I was like, I thought we had permission, and Ben's like, no, nobody. I'm like, you just had 150 people show up here.
Impromptu WordCamp.
Nobody blinked.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about it but Canisius, but it was cool. It was a good event.
It was a good event.
I met my first developer, Tommy, who is now our current developer again at that event at Canisius. He was just graduating from school, actually, through one of Ben's programs. And that's the type of thing you can do. It's a good recruiting place, good networking place, and it's a good learning place. And genuinely, like, we know when this community gets together, whether it's WordPress or marketing or creative or just that side of it, it's always good people. So we look forward to bringing those people together.
Will you have a job board people can write openings on, and people who are looking for jobs like we do at some events?
I thought about that, and we haven't set anything up. We do have a Slack channel or property, whatever it's called, workspace that we have set up that we're going to invite all the attendees into probably after that 4/19 deadline, so we can ramp up for 2 weeks and people can start chats in there and stuff.
Sounds good.
Because we want to just bring people together as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Marketers, designers, developers, just anybody that's interested in, learning more about some of the cool things that are being done or can be done. Like this event, it's a great opportunity to network, whether you're looking to expand your career. If I was in school as a computer science or developer or a graphic designer or something right now, like this is an event I would you're going to have a bunch of the top marketing agencies in Buffalo on hand at this event, and it's a great opportunity to expand that network and just get out there. So
absolutely. If you even are thinking about it, like I've been asking women, advice for people who are women who are thinking about joining WordPress and joining tech. So even if you have an inkling or want to learn a little bit more about it and the kinds of people involved, it's a really inexpensive ticket to spend the day networking with folks and learning as much as you can.
Yeah, and hopefully the weather cooperates with us. It'll be May. May can be very nice in Buffalo. It could also be not nice. Who knows?
But we had snow yesterday, so
I'm hoping we can show off the city because when the weather breaks in the city, it's one of the best ones to visit in the summertime.
Yes.
But there's good people here, and we're in a good spot downtown. So
absolutely. Well, guys, don't go anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and end this, but I want to talk to you for just a couple minutes before we go. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate learning more and being able to share this event with people through Post Status. If you are listening, go to colorcode.events for more information. And I don't know who's going to be here next week, but I will have another Post Status Happiness Hour live next week, and we'll be here to chat with everybody. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle.
Yep.